Alright guys, so I ordered this sample pack from Amazon. This is the Ocean Broad brand. I just wanted to see some options with some different colors of EVA foam. And the kind of nice thing about this actually is some of these have a non-3M backing and some of them have a 3M backing. So I stuck both of them firmly down to the deck. Okay, here's two different ones. The brown has the 3M backing. The snow camo has the Ocean Broad. Alright, so if I stick about a 1-inch thick strip down on there, put the same amount on. Okay, now how much force does it take to pull this off? So I mean, that wasn't too much different, but I think the 3M is a little bit stronger. But it's not a ton. It's maybe like 10%, 15%. Try pulling these up again. Okay, that was the 3M. That was the Ocean Broad. Huh. I think it kind of depends on the temperature too. Right about like it's like mid 50s here right now. It probably would stick a lot harder if it was a little bit warmer. But I'll tell you what, the 3M didn't really seem that much more impressive. I don't know, I was really sold on the 3M just by other comments and so forth, but I'm not seeing that much difference. The other thing that I notice is this like diamond cut pattern is a lot softer. Like it'd be nice to walk on with bare feet, sit on, whatever. Like it's a lot more I don't know, flexible. These ones that are the stripes, you know, they're definitely more firm. Okay, those are just some observations with the foam. I don't know if that helps you make your decision at all. Ultimately, it's kind of a test and see how long things will hold up and last. And also what color you like. The color that I really liked, it didn't have good reviews. It was a blue color, and they said like the blue would come off on your feet. So I kind of ruled that one out. My wife says this one is like too much of the same color. Guess I might agree with her there. She kind of likes this one. Does look nice with the boat. I just don't like the hardness of it. I like the more flexibility of the diamonds. I sent out for a few samples of Hydroturf, an alligator camo color. Anyways, they're both pretty dark. I was thinking about using them, but they're just a little bit too dark, I think, for what we have going on here. After checking more reviews, I decided not to go with the Amazon foam. I'm worried about the color degradation and it coming off on your hands and feet. Some of it's probably fine. I just don't want to take the risk of having to redo something, because you spend still a decent amount of money on the cheap foam. I did get some cheaper gray foam for down in the bottom. It's a diamond pattern, but for up top, the bulk of it, I'm going to use Hydroturf brand. So I have some diamond cut blue camo color coming, and hopefully that's going to hold up well. I don't want to, have to rip it off and redo it. So hopefully it's worth the extra few bucks. If you're spending 2/3 the money, but then you have to redo it because it goes bad, you'll just be kicking yourself. So I'm not going to take the chance. This is the first time doing it, and with putting the EVA foam on. I just want to make sure that we get something that's long lasting. So blue camo, diamond cut, Hydroturf. That's what we're going with. All right, well, it's time to start getting back on the boat project here. I have to do the EVA foam, and there's some accessories that I want to add also. I did do one water test so far. I'll show you what happened with that. It was way too wavy to be out, so. Now the river's really high. We've had a ton of rain, so I'm gonna wait till probably a few weeks till we do the next one. Was away for a little bit, taking Spencer out for a trip too. Anyways, we're glad to get back on the boat now. Can't wait to get it ready and get some time on it. Had the EVA foam laying out in my garage here for at least a month. So I have 2 sheets of the blue camo Hydroturf for the main back deck. And then I just got some cheapy Amazon EVA foam. That's gonna go down on the floor. I don't think it'll be too hard to put on. I have a couple little tricky sections here with some angles that I have to cut and going over top of some hinges, but it shouldn't be too hard. The number one concern is gonna be wiping things down with acetone before anything gets adhered down. I wanna make sure it's clean and prepped and ready for it to stick to. We'll let that dry for a few minutes and start laying out our foam. These sheets of Hydroturf measure 41 by 63 for the blue camo, and I did buy 3 sheets. I'm going to put some up on the bow there too, on the top. But I'm planning to run 2 sheets side to side here, and then we'll have some leftovers that we'll use up front there. What I'll do is just rough cut it, make it a little bit bigger than what I want, and then I'll trim it down into size as we stick it down. This stuff is really easy to cut and work with. Not too much to it. Just make nice cuts, make sure it's prepped super good, and it should stick down good for you. We have our bottom piece rough cut. It's just a matter of doing the same thing. We're going to peel the backing, stick it down, and cut it to size. There's no real pattern to line up either, just wherever you like how it looks. Here's what she looks like with the rear deck done, the 2 hatch latches back on. They blend into the camo, don't they? Gonna have to get creative. I'm not sure what shape I want to do up on the front bow yet, so I'm gonna think about that a little bit. I'm making the pattern for the bow design and want to put some hexagons in the design, so made this hexagon. It's a 5-inch diameter hexagon, and it has let's see, 2.5-inch sides. Have a left and a right piece. They're going to have some hex cutouts on the edges, and then I'll have a pattern with 3 hexagons in the middle connected with a strip. I had about 3 different ideas, and so you can see I went with this one. Here's a look at the 2 patterns cut out. All right, hexagon on the bow. Get out. Here's a look at the overall pattern. Hydroturf blue camo, super easy to work with, cuts nice, seems to stick good, and like the color, goes with my blue camo scheme. And then the rest of what I'm putting on the floor is this. So I might do like a stripe of camo down the middle and then the diamond on both sides. This is going to be an interesting comparison, putting this off-brand EVA foam down on the floor. We'll see how it performs. So far I can tell the backing is a little bit harder to cut through, no big deal. But here's the pattern I'm going to do on the floor. Stripe of the Hydroturf in between 2 of the gray diamonds. And it does have a seam. I'm going to put a seam across right about here where the 2 floor pieces join, so I can take up the floor pieces independently. I have this flower pot that's the exact size of my seat bases. So I'm going to put this down like so and trace it with my knife.
Now, one thing I will say about this off-brand stuff is I've had it rolled out for probably, I don't know, a month. And it still has some slight wrinkles in it, you can see. Hopefully it's going to lay out flat. But every part at the wide part of the diamonds, there's a little bit of a flat spot that didn't manifest in Hydroturf. So that's one advantage of using the higher quality stuff.
It's looking fine. I just have to measure and cut that seat post, fit that a little bit, and then we'll be ready to stick it down. Then I have to cut around a few bolts and cut in the angled sides.
Alright, so we got this one fitted. Feel the backing. I think the cost of this gray diamond off-brand EVA foam was about 60 bucks, and it was relatively the same size, might have even been a little bit bigger than the Hydroturf. And I think Hydroturf was around 130 bucks, so this was about half the cost. Will it hold up? I don't know, we'll see. I wanted a different color down underneath here on the floor anyways. Give it a try. Time to do some trimming, locate some holes, but overall it looks pretty good. Okay, here we go. Located my bolt holes, got her trimmed up. Yeah, feels nice on the feet. Should do a little sound dampening and just make for a nicer boating experience. I believe I should just be able to pressure wash it for keeping it clean. There we go. I mean, that's probably not big enough for the size of fish we're going to be catching, but you know, we gotta start somewhere. We can keep a tape measure on the boat, I guess. You know, it only goes up to 36. Little light. Essential equipment. Fine for going down the river. For trolling, we can set this up out to the side. Oops. Something like this. And I like that it has this clasp so your rod cannot come out of there. That's nice. Alright, so there we go. We got 3 fishing pole holders. Alright, we're loaded with fishing rods. I might end up putting some strips of Hydroturf here and on another gunnel because I have a feeling this is going to get stepped on a whole lot. One other thing we're going to put on here is a little Bimini top for when it gets sunny, and it's removable. There's our little Bimini top. That'll be nice for shade. For the front tie downs, just using the cleats that are already here, so I didn't have to drill anything else. They have tension straps, keeps it nice and tight, and then it just will fold back when we want to put it down. There we go, that's pretty much the last accessory we're going to put on here. Now if it would just stop raining, we could get out on the river.